When you play your bass, you want to sound confident. You want to play with conviction and to feel like every note is just effortless. But if your technique keeps falling apart, it feels like you're only ever one slip away from being a complete imposter. After 16 years of teaching bass professionally, I've seen one mistake derail more bassists than any other. It quietly kills your fluency, it builds up tension in your hands, and ultimately, it just wrecks your confidence. And that mistake is hidden in the way that most bass players handle string skipping. But the good news is, one small change fixes it, and most bassists can learn it in literally just a few minutes. The only shame is that most actually learn it far too late. So in this video, I'll show you the hidden mistake that's holding your string skipping back, a really simple fix that makes string skipping feel effortless, and a practical exercise to lock this fix into your muscle memory so that your technique holds up the very next time you play your bass. So what do most bass players get wrong about string skipping? Well, they focus solely on the plucking hand. Now, to be fair, it does look like the plucking hand is where most of the action is, but really, that's a bit of a half-truth. As a bass player, technique is ultimately about using both hands together. If your plucking hand is doing everything right, that's great, but ultimately, if your fretting hand can't keep up, that's when your technique is going to fall apart. This is something I go way deeper into in my fretting hand workshop, which is linked below, but it's a problem I see so many bass players struggle with. In fact, Tom, a recent private student, was in exactly this position. He struggled with string skipping and thought it was all to do with his plucking hand, but once we took a closer look at his technique, here's what we saw. His plucking hand was actually pretty good. It would jump to the next string, but his fretting hand actually lagged behind, and the result was sloppy transitions, really disjointed rhythms, and a technique that just wouldn't hold up to playing real music. So this is the missing link. It's the hidden mistake most bass players don't realize they're making. Your fretting hand is just as responsible for clean, fast string skipping as your plucking hand. And if you ignore this mistake, you'll keep struggling, no matter how clean your plucking hand is. So next, let me show you exactly how to fix it. Now, most bass players think that fretting hand technique is just about how fast you can move your fingers, but in reality, it's more about how well you can move your arm, in particular, your forearm. Let me show you what I mean. Look closely and see how you can move your fingers quickly across the strings just by rotating your forearm. This is a really simple movement that no one really seems to talk about, and it's a shame because using it makes string skipping much more accurate and much easier. Let me demonstrate this by showing you how I taught Tom to use this movement. So Tom was trying to jump between strings just by using his fingers, but his fingers kept falling behind. So I had him try this instead. I got Tom to play a really common root fifth octave shape, and rather than stretching his fingers across the strings to perform the skip, he would gently rotate his forearm inward. This tilted his hand and brought his fingers closer to the higher notes that he needed to play. After the skip, he rotated his arm back to his normal flat hand position and kept playing. This one tiny rotation made all the difference. It could keep his hand in its natural position without any tension, and it could move really easily because the hand was essentially just slave to whatever the forearm did. And that's the key. Fixing your fretting hand movement isn't just about your fingers, it's about how well you can use your whole arm. But even though this motion is really simple, it won't feel that natural at first. So next, let me show you an exercise to help you lock this into your muscle memory for good. So the key here is not just to practice this rotation by itself. If you want this to become part of your technique that can hold up under the pressure of playing real music, you need to practice three things specifically. You need to practice getting into the rotation, how to stay in it, and then how to get back out of it. That's why I've built this exercise into three parts. Part one is to start with a simple groove on the A string that keeps you in your regular flat hand position. For part two, you then play up a really simple root fifth octave shape, but this time using that tilting motion that we talked about earlier. For part 3, once you've gone to the top of that root 5th octave shape, you then rotate your hand back to play on the G string using your normal flat hand shape again. And then from there, you can rotate your hand back inwards again, play down the root 5th octave shape, and keep cycling around the exercise as many times as you like. Now, at first, this will feel a little strange, and that's absolutely fine. The key here is to focus on good motion, getting a good sound, getting a good tone, and to prioritize all of that above simply playing something quick. This is how you make this subtle string skipping technique become automatic habit, so that it can hold up under the pressure of playing live on your next gig. So now that your fretting hand is finally pulling its weight, there's only one other problem you need to fix to make sure that your technique doesn't fall apart on your next gig: your plucking hand. As I said at the start of the video, good technique is about making sure that both hands can work together, and if they can't do that, then your technique will still fall apart the next time you're trying to play a real song. So in this next video, I teach you a really simple plucking hand exercise that I actually taught to another private student that totally transformed his consistency, his accuracy, and his speed. So click up here to watch that video next.